Anakin Skywalker, one of the most powerful Jedi of his time, begins to feel something strange about Chancellor Palpatine. During one of their usual conversations, as Palpatine tries once again to influence him, a series of memories invade Anakin's mind. He remembers specific moments when Palpatine planted seeds of doubt and despair in his soul, always offering subtle but manipulative advice. These memories become clearer, and Anakin realizes that these coincidences were not at all accidental. He understands that Palpatine was constantly messing with his emotions, trying to steer him towards the dark side of the Force. This revelation is devastating for Anakin, who feels betrayed and used by someone he trusted. As Anakin reflects on his memories, he begins to connect the dots and realizes that Palpatine was behind the assassination attempts on his wife Padme. All those threats, the growing fear of losing her, were part of an evil plan devised by the Chancellor himself. The discovery shakes Anakin to the core, as he had always believed Palpatine to be a trustworthy mentor, someone who truly cared about his well-being and the safety of the galaxy. Now, he understands that it was all just a setup to push him into despair, using Anakin's love for Padme as bait to lure him to the dark side. Filled with rage and confusion, Anakin confronts Palpatine. He storms into the Chancellor's chambers, demanding to know the truth. Palpatine, with his cold, calculating smile, tries to dissemble, but Anakin is not fooled. He accuses Palpatine of being the architect behind all the tragedies that have surrounded him, from the threats to Padme to the growing conflict in the galaxy. Palpatine finally abandons his benevolent facade and reveals his true nature as Darth Sidious, the Sith Lord. Anakin feels a mixture of fear and hatred, but also a sense of clarity begins to emerge in his mind. Palpatine, realizing that he has been discovered, tries one last move to corrupt Anakin for good. He appeals to Anakin's deepest emotions, trying to convince him that the power of the dark side is the only way to save Padme and bring peace to the galaxy. Anakin, however, begins to resist these manipulations. He understands that giving in to the dark side would mean losing his humanity, his essence. Anakin's internal battle intensifies, but now, for the first time, he struggles to maintain his balance, to not let hatred consume him completely. Then the tension explodes in a fierce battle between Anakin and Palpatine. Lightsabers clash in a spectacle of power and fury. Anakin, at the height of his power, desperately tries to balance the Force within him, using both the brute force of the dark side and the serenity of the light side. Palpatine, on the other hand, plunges completely into the dark side, using every dirty trick and shred of hatred to try to dominate Anakin. The duel is intense and full of danger, both combatants knowing that the fate of the galaxy could be at stake. In the midst of the battle, Anakin feels a familiar presence in his mind. It is Yoda in deep meditation in the Jedi Temple, who contacts him through the Force. Yoda guides Anakin, helping him to find the balance he so desperately seeks. He teaches Anakin that true strength comes from harmony between the opposing energies of the Force, that he must not fear the dark side, but must not surrender to it either. With this advice, Anakin begins to understand that his strength lies in his ability to integrate the darkest and brightest parts of his soul, without letting one dominate the other. Back in battle, Anakin feels a new clarity within himself. He combines the raw power of the dark side with the clarity and wisdom of the light side, transforming his strength into something deeper and more devastating. In one final move, Anakin manages to overcome Palpatine, piercing him with his lightsaber. Palpatine's body falls to the ground, his shocked expression frozen forever. Anakin, panting and exhausted, feels the weight of his actions, but also a sense of relief at having finally defeated the Sith Lord who had almost destroyed him. However, Palpatine, always prepared, had programmed the execution of Order 66 to be activated in the event of his death. The executions begin immediately, spreading chaos and destruction among the Jedi. Anakin watches in horror as the clones, who were once allies, begin to massacre their former Jedi commanders. But now, without Palpatine's leadership and Anakin's help, the clones are disorganized and directionless, giving the Jedi little chance of survival. Mace Windu and Yoda quickly take the lead in a counterattack. They gather the surviving Jedi and begin to organize a resistance against the clone forces. Using all the wisdom and skill they possess, the two Jedi Masters begin a series of strategic attacks aimed at dismantling the clone leadership and regaining control of the situation. The conflict intensifies, but the courage and determination of Windu and Yoda inspire the Jedi, who fight on with renewed hope. Powerful masters such as Plo Koon and Kit Fisto join the counterattack led by Windu and Yoda, bringing their unparalleled wisdom and skills to the battle. They played crucial roles in reorganizing the Jedi defenses, using their combat skills and intuition to avoid deadly traps and protect the younger Jedi. The sacrifice of many was avoided, allowing the Jedi Order to preserve a significant part of its legacy and power. Windu and Yoda's actions in the counterattack were even more strategic and decisive. Windu, with his mastery of the Vapad combat style, led surgical strikes against the clones' command centers, destabilizing their operations. Yoda, for his part, used his deep connection to the Force to predict the enemy's movements, guiding the Jedi into ambushes and coordinated attacks. Together, they unified the Jedi into a cohesive force, able to resist the threat of the clone troopers and turn the tide of battle, saving countless Jedi lives. Meanwhile, Ahsoka Tano, Anakin's former Padawan, realizes what is happening and quickly mobilizes to help. She uses her contacts and skills to locate the surviving Jedi and warn them of the imminent danger. Ahsoka becomes a crucial link between the Jedi, coordinating their actions and helping to organize an effective resistance against Order 66. Her dedication and loyalty to the Jedi show that, despite having left the Order, she is still deeply connected to the Jedi cause. In the Senate, Obi-Wan Kenobi and Padme Amidala take drastic measures to expose the truth. They go to the Senate, alerting the senators to Palpatine's true identity as Darth Sidious and the activation of Order 66. At first, the Senate is in shock, unable to believe that the Supreme Chancellor, whom they admired so much, was actually a Sith Lord. However, the evidence is irrefutable, and little by little, the senators begin to understand the gravity of the situation. With the truth revealed, the Senate takes a courageous decision. They order the immediate deactivation of the clones and reinforce the counterattack led by Windu and Yoda. The Republic, now aware of the deception they were involved in, begins to join forces with the Jedi to neutralize the threat posed by the remaining clones. The alliance between the Jedi and the Republic is renewed, and together they fight to save the galaxy from the clutches of chaos. The army sent by the Senate to help Windu and Yoda played an essential role in neutralizing Order 66. Commanded by generals loyal to the Republic and the Jedi cause, this army focused on dismantling the clone divisions that still threaten peace. They used advanced warfare tactics to surround and capture the most dangerous units, while collaborating directly with the Jedi on the battlefield. The alliance between the Republic forces and the Jedi showed the rest of the galaxy the importance of mutual cooperation in the fight against the dark side. The battle is long and difficult, with many casualties among the Jedi. However, Order 66 is finally neutralized, thanks to the combined efforts of the Jedi, the Republic, and unexpected allies like Ahsoka. Although the victory was costly, the Jedi Order survived, and the threat from the dark side was temporarily contained. The galaxy, though wounded, is slowly beginning to heal. The Senate, recognizing its mistake in having blindly trusted Palpatine, takes steps to ensure that this never happens again. They recognize the importance of the Force sensitivity and intuition of the Jedi, realizing that these qualities are vital for the protection of the Republic. From that moment on, the Jedi gain a new status in the galaxy, being seen not only as guardians of peace, but also as wise advisors whose vision should not be ignored. The Senate's recognition of the importance of the Jedi's intuition was a significant milestone in this new era. The senators, many of whom initially underestimated the value of the Jedi's connection to the Force, realized that this sensitivity was vital to the security and future of the galaxy. They implemented new policies to ensure that the Jedi were always consulted on matters of security and governance, recognizing that Jedi intuition was not just a mystical gift, but an indispensable tool for anticipating and neutralizing threats before they became catastrophic. With this new perception, the Jedi become even more important in the Republic. They gain the power of veto on any decision made by the Senate and the new Chancellor, ensuring that they are never again ignored on issues critical to the well-being of the galaxy. This new balance of power creates an era of greater collaboration and respect between the Jedi and the Republic's political leaders. The Jedi Council, reformed and strengthened, becomes a true balance between the Chancellor and the Senate. They not only protect the peace, but also ensure that wisdom and justice prevail in the decisions that shape the future of the galaxy. This new era brings hope and renewal, a time when the light of the Force shines brighter than ever, guiding everyone towards a more just and harmonious future.